Our good friend.
Hey, it's the Portugal Pillow Talk podcast, the alliterative COVID-19 diary. Tonight, we're talking about salty soup, sourdough, silver. Was that it for now?
And puppy poo.
That doesn't begin with S.
Well, it can do.
Like sodding shit, I guess there's more. Yeah, but he can't help it. He's, I'm a bit of an advocate for him. Yeah. He hasn't yet taken control of his bowels or been adequately house trained, but it's in the pipeline, so to speak, as all of his poo and wee is as well. But I think he's doing pretty well. He's learning about shame and
shame. There you go.
Yeah, that was the other S, wasn't it? He's. I feel a bit guilty even saying that I'm using shame as a technique of control.
Yeah, because we try not to do
that. Avoid that with. Yeah, to some extent, only when absolutely necessary. Yeah, I don't like that sort of thing, but I realise that dogs are pretty basic and they like to feel like they belong and thrive on approval. But anyway, he's doing pretty good, our little Jimmy Ruffin. So he's good, and we can always fatten him up and eat him. Only kidding, only kidding, only kidding. Salty soup, what happened, do you think?
I have no idea what happened to that soup. We have been kind of like batching up our meals, and where we've had leftovers, obviously we've put them in Tupperware, and we had lots of different bits and pieces which we put into a box ready to make into a soup today. And
a box of salt.
And for some reason it was salty as hell, wasn't it?
It was. Even the kids are like, it's just really salty, even though I tried to dilute it down a bit. In fact, that's the silver lining. Another S, isn't it, is that we've got twice as much soup if I dilute it and make it less salty.
But I've had about 3 pints of water in the last hour.
It's raised our hydration, isn't it, as a consequence. But you heard that it's good to drink a lot of hot drinks as the old wives' tale for the COVID, right?
Oh, there's loads of old wives' tales, and they might actually be okay. They might, there might be some truth in them, but apparently sipping fluids every 20 minutes to let if there are any germs, to get them into your stomach so the stomach acid can wipe them out, obliterate.
Hot fluids though, right?
Yeah, and keep hot fluids. Just drink lots and lots of hot fluids.
Okay.
So salty soup.
Salty soup works.
Yeah, it kind of works, yeah.
But salt makes you acidic, doesn't it? And not alkaline.
No, it's alkali.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, good. And we use good quality. If it was the right quality salt, we're all right as well, aren't we? I just don't know where it came from. There were white beans in it. Some of those canned white beans, or jars of white beans that you get in Portugal.
It might be that the beans hadn't been rinsed.
Yeah, and they still had the alpha moeda or whatever it's called in it. What's the stuff that comes with chickpeas that you can whip up in?
Aquafaba. Alpha moeda. What the hell's that?
I don't know. I thought I'd get away with it. But yeah,
aquafaba.
Aquafaba. You can whip up the.
Just means bean water, doesn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, fabas are beans.
Yeah.
As in fava beans. Mm-hmm. Ah, very good. Okay, so maybe we didn't rinse away the salty water that the beans came in, which I think we should do anyway.
Yeah, we should do.
But the mystery of the salty soup.
Don't know, we all ate it, so it's fine.
Yeah, and all still here to do the podcast, which is great. But sourdough, good. That's going well, isn't it? Well, sauerkraut and sourdough, you're doing pretty well with the old homebrew fungus-based foods.
Yeah, my sourdough, it's only been going, 3 or 4 days?
Not terribly sour, I'm glad to say.
No, but I can see that the sourness could come in quite quickly. I do need to keep.
It's like a relationship.
I do need to. I do need to keep up to date with it. Yeah, it's got a culture in it already, for sure. Because
that's a nice way of putting it.
Well, it was like foaming, when I went to it today. So that's a good sign that it's moving. It's got a slightly different smell to it now.
Everything is so subjective, because if it was on your foot, it would be called a medical
emergency.
Emergency. But because it's bread, it's like it's okay.
Yeah. So like the last few days since we've been making the sourdough, or I say since I've been like trying to bring on this culture, like every day you feed it and you chuck half it away. With the half that we've been throwing away, we've made it into like a flatbread mix. And so me and the kids have been making flatbreads. But today I managed to make some rolls, and
you got a bit of a rise, didn't you, today?
I did get a bit of a rise. I left it by a window, covered with a
Does
towel.
it like a view then? Is that what happens?
It liked a bit of heat.
I see.
We had a bit of sun through the window for about half an hour today. So,
okay.
But I should have kept my eye on it because there wasn't enough heat really to give it a good rise. But...
Well, you saved the soup. Having the sourdough bread with it was the saving grace, really. And lucky we had salted butter to go with it. Silver, then. What go on with the silver production?
Well, yeah, I've made some colloidal silver with our new Wickety Whack machine. It's a very slow machine.
Should you be saying that? Is it lawful to make colloidal silver?
Why?
You've gone real quiet.
Yeah, of course it is.
No, because no, I'm sure it is fine. It's just in England. There were all these things, weren't there, about about the things being outlawed. No, that was for sale, wasn't it, rather than production?
Yeah.
It's not like we're making booze, is it, or anything?
No,
like that?
I'm not like doing like Hooch Corner or anything. I'm.
Yeah, and a really good defence is, in the eyes of the sort of straight up allopathic, pharmaceutically monopolised medicine is, well, if you don't think it does anything, what's the harm in us producing tons of it?
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not doing it to sell. If people wanted, if we had a surplus or if people needed it, I'd be happy to, to make some for people, but I wouldn't sell it. In
fact, what we could do if you needed it is that I would actually just meditate on it and send you a homeopathic energetic dose of it through the ether if you need that. There's a joke. There's a joke. But you're not laughing because it's kind of not a joke as well, right?
I don't want to offend anyone. I know some really cool people.
Hold on, let's qualify that. You don't mind offending people. You don't want to offend those sort of people whose joke that was possibly at the expense of. So you're distancing yourself from...
I'm distancing myself from that poor taste joke.
I'm sorry to anybody who may be offended by that.
Yeah. Good.
Here's sending you a homeopathic, energetic shot across the ether of empathy, love, and compassion and apology.
Yes, good. Well done. So I've been making the colloidal silver today. It took me a while to get used to the dial because it's in German, and obviously I'm not a German speaker.
1, 2, 3 sort of dial.
Well, no, the instructions are all in German as well.
I see. Okay.
And so
the Geschwindigkeitsbeschränken. That's instruction manual.
Is it?
I believe so. It's one of the few words I remember from German. Geschwindigkeitsbeschränken.
What? I'm going to check that out with Wiebke tomorrow.
Seriously, you can. I stand by it.
I will. Yeah. I got my Google Translate app out on the phone and
unless it's washing machine. Anyway,
taking a photo of the instructions and waiting for the magical translations to come through as if by magic, and it's really freaky as it comes out of the screen at you.
Well, it depends how fast the workers can type at the other end, right?
Yeah. So anyway, I was hoping to make 50 parts per ppm.
Parts per million, yeah. And can you double check that for me, please? Because I'm not taking any risks. You will be kept double checking and auditing them, won't you, afterwards?
Today I've done 37 parts per million.
Good, okay.
It's been going all day, but I have made a litre of it, and
really?
It's yeah.
Get on, right?
It swaps the polarity of the electrical charge.
Of course, I would expect nothing less.
Yeah, so that's why it takes so long.
Yeah.
But tomorrow I'll be making colloidal.
Well, I've heard it clicking on and off when I've been in my office / studio.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's just the puppy playing out in the hallway with his.
So that's the sourdough sorted, the silver sorted,
the salty soup.
Yeah. What else have we been doing today?
I can't find anything.
You messed around with a train track, didn't you?
Mess around with a train track. I carefully constructed a network. Mess around.
Network rail.
Talk about upsetting and offending people.
Yeah, sorry.
Brio is like a pile of pieces of wood that gets kept in a box in our house.
Yeah.
And once every equinox or something, people here will build a railway track and play with it. Then it lies on the floor for another 3 weeks until it gets tidied away until the next equinox.
Yeah.
What I've done is I've made repurposed a tabletop and an old chrome coffee table frame and built a Brio network on top of it for the kids. And, a lot of people will poo-poo that, I'm sure, and say, and I see you're smirking already, that I am kind of compromising their imagination. Because when I first started screwing the track down, the kids would say, but you can't take, Minnie was trying to pull up the track, going, you can't move the track, you can't move the track. And I was thinking, yes, that's the whole point. I've made a railway system now, and it is the discipline upon which freedom can be founded. And imagination and playfulness and creativity.
Well, the great thing is that they also do have some other bits of brio as well. So if they do want to invent a track, they can freestyle it as well.
But not until
Could you do like an end piece coming off it so that they could?
No, this is you. No. Because then that's you trying to railroad, if I may say that, my idea here. And the idea stands, I think, and I would be interested to hear people's views on this, is that it's a bit like doing your grades in the piano. You don't get a kid on the piano and they do bash out something and you go, oh, that's really good, darling, well done, like a sort of, Waitrose parent, and you get a rosette for just doing some freeform jazz on the piano. But that's not really playing the piano, is it? No one's going to get far doing that. You have to go into the rigidity and discipline and structure part, I think. And then once you've mastered that, or you've got a framework, that's the framework. It's like parenting. It's the one hand, or parenting like making pottery. The one hand on the outside of the vase, stopping it, when you're throwing a pot. You've got your hand pushing out and your hand pushing in. Mm-hmm. And my railway system, is the hand pushing in and causing a disciplined approach to the play. So it's not just a pile of bloody stuff on the floor in a random room somewhere. Mm-hmm. There's a sense of underlying pain in what I'm saying here, isn't there?
Yeah, you've got prior pain on that one. See, I really do like the freestyle as well. I love what you've done, for sure. But I've seen Minnie, our little girl, pick up bits of track and line them up. And one of them's the dad, one of them's the mum, one of them's a kid, one of them's a dog. And she'll talk to them like they're...
But she does it with pieces of paper.
She does it with everything. Yeah. And that's what I like
in
about...
her effort, I'll tell you what, this proves my point. What? In her effort to bring a sense of structure to family life. That's what she's doing.
She's just copying us.
All right. We're shifting away. We're bringing up... This is becoming therapy.
She's always... Well, isn't this what this is about?
It is, but I suppose this is a little bit of a diversion again, as going off the sidings, because this is about. Well, I suppose this is what's happening for people, isn't it? They're locked down and they're with their families, and they are making railways. And they sort of get the toys are coming out that they wouldn't otherwise come out. Because for the first time today, I did get off my butt, and when the kids, instead of just dispatching them in various directions or whatever, or coming up with some lazy thing of changing the channel on the telly, I said, let's go get something out. Instead of sending them to just go to the toys, I said, I'll come with you and get you started. Mm-hmm. And narrowed it down. Again, it's a structure thing. They like a bit of structure in which they can feel some freedom. And it was like the car track or the marble run. Because the brio thing happened later in the day. The earlier part was a choice between car track and... which I still haven't tidied away. That's all this time, and yet it's like it's probably a cheaper way of, the hot coals thing. We could run workshops. Obviously, can't at the moment because no one can come to the house, but we could do our own workshop of walking across the... I keep avoiding saying that we've got a playroom. We're not posh. It's just there are a lot of rooms in this house, and the kids have got their toys in a specific room now. But you could do firewalking equivalent of walking across with bits of Lego, cars, bits of maybe a dog turd in there somewhere, and you walk across and you mind over matter, and you're breaking through your fears and your limitations to get to the other side.
Well, I recommend that you are the first one to do that.
I am the first. I just did it tonight to go and turn the light off that someone left on in there. I'm a proper dad. Like, lights get left on, it's me to turn them off whilst judging and castigating everybody quietly in my mind. And not so quietly sometimes. I did have to go across that hell of the virtual firewalk and Lego pieces in my insole to turn a light off.
Yeah, so I think this is a really helpful process, us being in isolation. I imagine lots of families
No,
are.
I imagine lots of people listening to you thinking she's losing it. She's laughing in a kind of slightly edgy way and just telling herself that this is a beneficial isolation.
No, I think this is challenging people to rise up, isn't it, and to show up in their own families, and sure that's going to change things. I mean, we show up in
It's
our
another
family.
firewalk, isn't it?
Well, I mean, we're in our family most of the time anyway. I mean, really, for us, there's fewer changes than there would be in other families, where both parents and kids
What
go
enough
to work
people
every
will be
day.
getting a job?
Yeah, like we both work from home.
Yeah.
We homeschool, and we do everything from home anyway. I mean, what we've done is just added in some homesteading skills like fermenting and
It deepened the
yeah, we've deepened our connection with our family and our home. But
and the homestead life.
yeah, which actually is probably where we wanted to go anyway.
It is. It's
but we
brought
managed.
it on.
But we managed to find lots of excuses to not do it because we were so wrapped up in
Busy.
yeah, we were being busy.
The story of busy.
Yeah.
The bullshit of busy.
But I imagine as like once the worry, eases out of people, because I don't think you can be worried 100% of the time. There are moments, where everyone's chinking their worry armor. Their worry armor gets chinked and they forget to worry sometimes. There'll be a moment where...
Well, you worried that you've forgotten what you're worrying about?
Well,
That
like,
kind of level.
like your kid disarms you with one of those like charming smiles and all of a sudden, everything's right in the world. So I think even parents and families that are in a state of worry or panic about money, because I mean, I've been speaking just in this last couple of days, I've spoken to about six or seven clients. And, if they haven't lost money, their friends have, there's so many stories of people whose employers have just said, right, that's it. Yeah. People on 0-hour contracts.
Or in landlords saying you're evicted.
Hell. Exactly. Lots of horrible stuff like that. And then families, I've spoken to one person, you just told me about another person, who've got parents in nursing homes, and then they're not able to go and see their parents now. Things are...
Oh, I've got a shout out to, I think they're called Rob and Joe, my mum's neighbours, who've been bringing her stuff. I love you guys. Thank you so much for doing that for my mum, who I'm just communicating with her on WhatsApp and making sure she's all right the best I can, like by remote control. That's this is the shortcoming of the precariously purchased, globalized world, isn't it?
Yeah.
That we have, and then suddenly it's cut off. What you assume you couldn't do, but they've stepped in, and that's what we're doing, isn't it? We're all looking after each other's parents now. It would appear.
Yeah, because like we spoke to our adopted parents over here, didn't we, today?
Yes.
So we're kind of like doing parenting for someone else's parents, and you've made good with the neighbours as well, and spoken to their kids to say, we'll step in if necessary. So I think we're all doing a little bit.
Yeah. And I've written to a landlord who was evicting someone, which I think I would encourage people to do that. A friend of mine on Facebook said, she'd just been served her eviction yesterday. And I said, has this landlord got an email address? I'll drop him a line. And I thought, going back to how he started about shame, I didn't go into that stuff. I didn't tell her what a terrible person she was, because I don't think that's appropriate or right.
Well, she's got her own stories.
She's got her own story. I don't know her, and I just said, could you at this time think differently? Could you approach this differently? And I'm aware that you've had your difficulties, but could you find it in yourself to, think about it differently, to not do that right now, given all that's going on, and appeal to her kindness rather than tearing her off a strip? That's not going to help, is it? Shaming people. Well, just because that's what's happening with the panic buying, isn't it? If you shame people who panic buy, very few of them are going to say, "Yeah, fair play, bang to rights, I'll put it back." They go into
combat, won't they?
Yeah, they tell you to go screw yourself.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, you might as well be hung for a sheep as a lamb. Yeah, and I'll take more. Screw you all, I'll take more, because shaming people doesn't work.
No, it doesn't, does it?
Even if they deserve it. Only kidding.
maybe that's why the dog is doing more poos on the floor.
Oh, I'll have to look at that. These sort of modern equivalent of modern parents and modern dog raising. And this would be post-modern dog raising, won't there, as well? Right.
Attachment dog rearing. Oh, God.
Nobody wants that, especially you, I suspect.
Yeah, I don't want to carry a dog in a sling.
How's your garden grow?
Garden is growing beautifully. Really, really well. We had quite a few seeds knocking about. Like when we came out to Portugal a couple of years ago, we brought our organic seed collection.
Our arsenal.
Yeah, like we came over in a camper van, and Carl was very specific about what we could and couldn't bring, and there were a few.
Well,
things
hold on a minute. You make it sound like I'm some kind of camper van packing fascist or something.
You were.
Well, excuse me, it's not a dry cough. What I should add there is that I thought it might be quite nice to be able to see the children in the back of the van when we were going along, rather than just be able to hear them shout in the back. You okay there? Yeah. So when I realised we couldn't actually see them because of the stuff in the van, at that point I thought we should. Well, not dangerous, but just like
a air hole for them.
Well, causing therapy in later life sort of situation. And not ideal.
So we cut back. But bringing the seeds out was, I thought it was a necessity, as was our water filter and a few other bits. But like I was looking at our seed collection last week or the week before, and I just realised we've got packets of seeds from like 2013, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to give those to the kids and say to them that they can put them anywhere they like. And
they did.
And and they're growing, so we're going to have some fun with those. I put it in the slug and snail areas, where we've already planted.
You've overwhelmed the slugs and snails, haven't you?
Hopefully. There's lots of sort of annual plants and things like that, and stuff that might put them off. And
oh God, I've just remembered. I've cleaned underneath the sink this evening.
Oh God.
Because it was a pretty grim old space, wasn't it? We've got an old-fashioned marble sink, and the it's not entirely watertight, I suspect.
It's another S.
Yes, and it's not a sink as you'd expect it. It's a number of sheets of flat marble
that's stuck together.
To form a sink. It's really beautiful in its own way, but it's not.
It's not
state of the art or hygiene test. But I went under the sink tonight. I went in, and I really started giving it some serious bleach. But no, a great big spider fell on my hand while I was doing it. I nearly screamed.
You're ruining his home. Bless him.
Well, yeah, fair enough. And he had a right to be angry with me, but I wasn't expecting it. And I think so many times now here, I think I should be wearing gloves for this job.
Yes,
and that was one of them.
Yeah.
But he was a big hairy guy. I could feel his. Afterwards, I thought, yes. I think I felt his hairiness on the back of my hand. Sorry if you can't sleep now.
God.
So it's going well in the garden. Seeds.
For seeds. Yeah. So the
saplings.
They're all really growing really well. It's good that we bought a few soft fruits trees or bushes.
Canes.
There you go. And they weren't really doing well. And to be fair, they'd been planted a few times and moved around in their short lives. But it's reassuring to see that they're actually starting to grow and thrive. So
yeah, something's kicked in, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm getting ready to do some good propagation with those this year.
And we'll have a few seeds and pricked out things to give away as well locally, which I think is a good idea. Yeah,
I'd really like with any surplus we have is to leave them on the bench outside so anyone can just help themselves.
Cool.
But to be fair, I don't think anyone will really need anything. Everyone's got gardens around here.
But... Well, we might make another social faux pas, mightn't we? Like, why are they doing that? They're weird.
So we've got to be careful because we don't want to do that. It's probably better just to gather some up and take them to our neighbours.
Yes.
And just leave them on the doorstep and send them a text.
Yes, okay.
Rather than just leave it for the rats to eat on the bench.
All right, couple of last things.
Yeah, so what did we do? We had silver today, sourdough.
No, I'm not asking you to round up.
Oh, okay.
I've got things that we haven't even talked about yet.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to say that you made your live stream debut today using a new technology, and it was very good, I thought.
Yeah.
This is a good recommendation for other people. If you want to be online and you want to promote yourself and the service you offer, and you want to get into live streaming, we've nailed. Well, it's a bit arrogant to say we've nailed it, but we're really going for it and enjoying it.
Yeah, and it's called StreamYard, so it's another S.
StreamYard, yes, it is.
And it's funny because last night I was when I was chatting to my friends, we were talking about whether business was up or down, and I said, I was hoping or hopeful that it was going to go up, because people want a bit of clarity at this time. And then this morning I woke up and I got 2 messages from people that want readings, and then I think someone wants to join me in a membership. So that was good. That was a really nice.
And you looked at the astrological significance of the coronavirus phenomenon today.
Oh yeah. Well,
how can people find out more? Because we could talk another half hour about that. But where do people find what you did today?
If you go to Facebook and look up the daily, what was it? The Daily Uplift Forecast. The Daily Uplift Forecast.
Yes, which is not the trade magazine of the lingerie industry, which it could be.
No. So go to the Daily Uplift Forecast, and you'll find it. So every day I'm answering a question astrologically. So if someone's got a question about the corona phenomenon or anything, I'm sort of investigating it astrologically and recording my answers and inviting people to join me for more.
I got a bit of astrological schooling tonight, I have to say. You know how I like to brush swords with people on Facebook, social media. Yeah, well, my old friend Alec, who I have a bit of a beef with because he goes on about chemtrails and he's a fan of Trump and Boris. I just don't get it. He's a bright bloke and everything. Sorry, I'm letting myself in for some real serious trouble there, aren't I? But I think that's a nasty question. I think you're a nasty journalist. I think that's a really bad thing to do at my press conference. Anyway, Alec was talking about how old Steptoe, how Corbyn should step aside and socially isolate and let Boris get on with the job, and how great Boris is and One Nation Tories. I'm like, oh my God. And I said, he was talking about, well, anyway, Cole, leaders now are no longer in the age of Pisces. They're in the age of Aquarius. We don't need leaders anymore. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, then why have we got the Commons and why have we got the House of Lords if we don't need these leaders? Why are you even talking about how good leaders are? And he said, because astrology is sine waves. It's not a switch. It's not suddenly going to go from being led to not being led. It's a wave, and it's on its way out. Yeah, is what he was saying. And I thought, yeah, fair play. I got schooled there.
Well, it's generations, like things change, don't they? I was having a conversation about generations because here's another S. I had a session with Scott tonight.
Yes.
So we got a really...
You might want to clarify that.
Yeah, yes, I might do. We've got a very gifted healer friend who is absolutely awesome, isn't he?
He is. S for special.
Extra special as well. And he's based in New York, and
S for sigil, possibly.
Maybe. And so I connected in with him tonight and had a really good session with him. So he works intuitively and remotely, and through the power of WhatsApp, magic happens.
And by the magic of WhatsApp, I bestow upon you good blessings. ScottClover.com, intuitive energy healer. Good luck if you're interested in that kind of thing. At all. I mean, if you're down with it, he's great. If you're interested, I did some podcasts with him. He's a great bloke. Got scottclover.com.
Yeah, definitely. I absolutely wholeheartedly recommend him. If you've got something you want to clear, just do it. Don't hesitate. Go for it.
Very good. And I've got one appeal. I'm not cutting you off if you've got something to add after this, but I also want to... It's not dry. I want to. You're worried, aren't you? You're looking at me like, why has he coughed twice during this podcast? It's the bleach and the spider. I would love people to join my team on Good Morning Portugal's live stream. I just think it'd be really great to have people using the live stream service that we do every day, pretty much, updating what's going on in Portugal in English. If people would tell me what's going on in their area. I'd love north, south, east, west, Madeira, the Azores, and central, just someone there. And we could go to everybody. It doesn't have to be every day. Our friend Owen is going to shout out from the east, I think, tomorrow. I don't know where exactly he is, but he's in the east of the country. An update, what's going on there, what's happening on the ground, what do people need, what pleas and help and requests for support are there, and just use the live stream for the advantage of the community here. English-speaking community, expats, explorers, immigrants, visitors, and so on who are here in Portugal. So if you want to join me for that, drop me a line. That'd be great to hear from you.
Very powerful.
Should we leave it there?
Yeah, let's have some sleep.
S for sleep. Very good. Okay, good night, folks. Take care.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Bye for now.
Bye.
And 2 S's to leave with you. Stay safe.